Hi everyone, I'm Sinead McTiernan and I'm a primary school teacher from St Edward's Catholic Primary School in Birmingham, where I'm also RE lead. And today I'm going to be reading you one of the stories from chapter 71 of the ACN Children's Bible. Hopefully you'll listen carefully and take away some of the similar messages that I got from the passage. So the title of the chapter is The Rich Farmer's Mistake. Jesus warned all those who were with him, "Take care and be on your guard that you do not become greedy. For not even a rich man can make his life secure." And he told them a parable. There was a rich man who had a good harvest from his land. He thought to himself, "What shall I do? I do not have enough room to store all of my crops." And then he decided, "I will pull down my barns and build bigger ones. I will store all my grain and my other goods in them. Then I will be safe and can say to myself, 'Now I have taken good care of myself. These supplies will last for many years to come. I can eat and drink and have a good time.' But God said to the man, 'You are a fool. This very night you will die, and this hoard of yours, and what good will it be to you then?' Jesus said, 'This is what happens when a man stores up treasure for himself instead of making himself rich in the sight of God.'" Whilst I was reading this story, it really made me start to reflect on myself, really. That's where I thought I'd better start with trying to explain the message that this story gave to me. And it made me think about the things that I do and the way in which I behave, which I think is the genuine beauty of the stories that Jesus shared, as they encourage you to reflect and analyse on yourself and on life. Sometimes the messages are direct and sometimes they're indirect, which leaves them open to interpretation, where at times he's facilitating rather than telling you what you should and shouldn't believe and what you should and shouldn't do. In this story, it tells us in the very opening sentence the point that he's trying to make. And in the first two words, Jesus warned. That to me is a strong choice of word, and it meant that it wasn't to be ignored. Take care and be on your guard not to be greedy. To me, this suggests how easily this can happen and how natural it can become to almost have that as a character trait and to allow that to become part of your daily behaviour. The farmer had clearly worked very hard, which is obviously always important. It's important to work hard and to try your best with everything that you do. But it was to ensure that he had everything he wanted, and so that then he could rest, almost to become a little bit complacent and take for granted what he had. But this then made me question that although he might have had everything he wanted, did he have what he really needed? And as an adult, I sometimes struggle to distinguish between what I want and what I need. So as children, this can be even trickier when you've got adverts on the telly, or you see other people with things that, attract you and attract your attention. And it's about prioritising and putting things in a certain order as to what mean the most to you and what are actually going to help you get through life. Then I realised that actually by putting God first, he will always help me with anything I need. It may not be obvious at first, and a little bit like Jesus with some of his stories, he might facilitate me to get to what I need in preference to just putting it straight in front of me. Then my attention jumped to the idea of building something bigger to store things. And this then instantly made me think about when I moved house. I found things as I was packing boxes and putting things into bags that I found so much stuff that I'd forgotten about, or stuff that I hadn't used for a really, really long time. So clearly things that I didn't need. And when I lived at home with my parents, with my mum and dad, my personal belongings were all in one room, generally my bedroom. I might have had things in other places, but generally that was my space. And I've just looked around, and I'm now in my own house on my own, and I've managed to fill an entire house. So a little bit like the farmer, I've gone from something possibly quite small to feeling the need that because I've got space that I have to fill it with things. And I've also looked around, and when I die, I can't take any of these things with me. And also that many of these items aren't going to last forever. If I drop a glass, it's going to smash and it's going to have to go in the bin. My television, eventually it's going to change. Televisions when I was little were very different, and now they wouldn't be compatible with many other devices that we want to connect to them. So these things aren't going to last forever. And this is what I think Jesus really wanted to remind us with this story, is that God promised us that in life we will have everything that we need. We generally have food, we have water, he provides us warmth, he provides us just guidance and a spiritual friend. And at times we might just need to stop and recall all of those things that God has blessed us with. We can use money to help further our relationship with God through donating to the church or through charity work. But that the only thing that is permanent in life, that will last forever, is heaven and the kingdom of God. And that's what we need to be aiming towards, not necessarily to be rich, not to have big houses and posh cars or the latest computer equipment, but to be the best person that we can be and the best person that God would want us to be.